Let's look at some other issues related to extinction. Here we have a fellow who says, we are way too many anyway. We need a massive reduction for Earth's sake and for humanity itself. Women aren't having kids. Could have fooled me. Uneducated people have the more kids. And I think, this fellow is not very familiar with the issue. And I mentioned that the other day. Here's the picture. That's 19th century. It was the rich people who had kids. Okay, let me repeat that. In the 19th century, beginning of the 20th century, it was the rich people who had lots of kids. Okay, so this notion that people have today that it's the poor people who have children, Africa wasn't having children in the 19th century. Africa started having the continent, right? Primarily sub-Saharan Africa, started having children in the 20th century. In the 19th century, it was the developing nations, Europe, United States, primarily, Japan. Those were the countries or the regions where population was growing. It was growing exponentially. Why? Because of manufacturing. It was exploding. People were getting rich. There was a lot of work. And in that environment, people procreated people. Okay? So this is a misconception that this fellow has. Another fellow says something similar. He said, I live in the Philippines in the Queen City of the South, Cebu. There doesn't seem to be any shortage of children, including very poor kids, with nobody to support them who live on the streets begging. It doesn't appear to me that cities deter Filipinos from having children. And again, this is what happens when you just judge by your city. I mean, I've been in Buenos Aires, you see the same thing. You see children begging in the streets. You see, in many of these countries, you'll see that. And you're not going to judge how population grows from what you see in the city. You get the wrong version of what's really going on. Okay, so let me give you an example. It's known as statistics. Okay, statistics are a little better for this kind of problem. You don't just go out there and look at the city and say, oh, there's a lot of kids there. It looks like, it's the poor people who are having children, right? No, the way you do it is this way, okay? You look at the trends, and here you have China's birth rate. That's been falling since 1979, when they had the one-child per family policy. Then they switched over to the two-child per family policy, and that didn't change anything. It just keeps going down, down, down. Now China is giving money to people to have children, and it's still going down. People are not having children. And you say, what's going on? And obviously no one has any idea out there. You want to know what's going on, you got to come only to this site. It's the only site in the world that tells you why we're not having children. Okay, you won't find it with any of the experts out there because there are no experts. This is the reason we're not having children, especially Chinese. Okay, urbanization. Everybody's moving to the cities, and because you move to the cities, you stop having children. That's the main or the underlying reason. That affects both economics and culture. Okay, crowdedness. There's several things related to that, but the driving force is urbanization. People are going from the country to the city. When you get to the city, you can't have 10 children like you used to have in the country. That's the main reason. That's the underlying reason why the entire planet is now growing asymptotically. In other words, the growth rate, population growth rate, is not exponential anymore in any country. Even in Nigeria, sub-Saharan Africa, everybody's got the wrong idea. They say, oh, all these black people are having children. No. Believe me, you have black people in the United States, they're not having children if they live in cities. If they live in cities, they're not going to have children. They're going to have one or two maybe, and that's it. And not even that much. They're not even getting married, a lot of them. So it's got nothing to do with race. It's got nothing to do with how much money you have in your pocket. Okay? It's got to do with urbanization. You move to the city, no more jobs, or you have meager jobs that barely take you to the end of the month, and people realize immediately they cannot have 10 children. especially in an apartment. That's the issue. Okay, so urbanization is what drives population down. Okay, and it's inevitable. All countries, every single country on the planet, you have people. There's this transition going on where people are moving from the country to the cities. Every single country. There's no exception on the planet. Okay, you can look it up and find an exception for me and throw it in my face. Okay, but that's what's happening. Okay, transition, country to the city, known as urbanization. Another issue that came up was China. And one fellow says the Western Empire is crashing and burning. I guess he hates the Western Empire. America became the financial capital of the world after Second World War. Okay, China will secure that title after the third. Well, I don't know about this guy's crystal ball. I disagree with him. I think the Third World War is very likely to come unless the global economy collapses before then. But I think part of that collapse will be a world war. So I think they're going to come kind of simultaneously. After World War III or after the collapse of the global economy, whichever comes first, or if they come simultaneously, there will not be a world after that. Okay, or like I think it was Einstein who says, I don't know how the Third World War will be fought, but the fourth one will be fought with sticks and stones. There will be nothing left after that. Okay, we'll be throwing stones at each other, whoever's left. Okay, so no, after a Third World War, it's over for all of us. Okay, we will not restart the race, partly because our genetic diversity is gone. So even if there's a pocket of humans that survives, they will not reproduce the population of Earth like Adam and Eve. That's gone. So those people who think that somehow we're going to restart the race again and grow and for another million years, well, they don't have the slightest clue. Okay. Okay, so let's see. Here we have another fellow, and I think he said, China isn't a service economy. Laugh out loud. Yeah, China is a service economy. Okay. He's laughing at his own ignorance because I showed that the other day, but let me show it one more time. China is now a service economy. Okay, this is labor, and you can see what's happening just with labor. Labor has been growing since at least 2011 on this chart. You can see how agriculture industry is dying down. What's growing is services. So services is now what, 48% according to this, and there's only 29% of labor in blue-collar jobs, manufacturing. Agriculture is another 22%. Okay, that's according to this chart. But let's look at GDP. Okay, that's important too, or probably more important. Okay, this is 2013. Primary industry agriculture, 10%. Manufacturing, blue-collar workers, 44%. Tertiary, the service sector, 46%. For the first time around 2014, 2013, services overpassed or surpassed manufacturing. It used to be more manufacturing. Now GDP is mainly coming from the service sector. That means it has become a more service-oriented economy. But that was in 2013. Here's 2017. You can see again how it went from manufacturing in 1978, 47.7% there at the bottom left. And now you can see that tertiary, which was 24%, went up to 51%, while manufacturing dropped to 40%. So 51%, more than 58% of the Chinese economy is now coming out of services and not out of industry. Okay, you can see what's happening, and that trend's continuing. Here you see how that service economy in China is divided. Okay, transport and storage and post, hotel and catering, real estate, wholesale and retail, financial intermediation, and then you have the others. So that's how it's divided. That's what's growing. Specifically, what is growing is probably that other, which is internet services. What's growing on the planet is internet, and internet is what I call unemployment. It's a leisure and entertainment um, economy. It's a rich man's economy. Okay, you have servants doing everything for you. It's like you're the pharaoh, and you pay for services. You want a pizza? You don't even have to walk to the pizza shop. You just phone them in. They bring you the pizza to your house. You buy everything on the internet. So it's like all these people, you don't even know where it comes from. All you know is that you need a coat, and you go out there and buy it on the internet, and they send it to you. So you don't know who made it, where it came from. You don't care. You just look at, do your shopping on the internet. Even the malls are dying. Nobody's going out there anymore. So internet is unemployment. It's a rich man's economy. It's a leisure and entertainment economy, and we cannot survive on leisure and entertainment. And that is what is growing in every country in the world, especially the advanced nations. So there is no future whatsoever. Once they fill all the entertainment and leisure quota, anyone who comes next, well, he'll have a hard time breaking into that monopoly, into that guild, right? He who hits first hits twice. That's the way it works. And these people are hitting twice. Whoever gets those services first, those are the companies that will grow. Anyone who comes later, he'll just be a consumer, not a producer.